Nowadays, I am hearing Swagger is also known as the synonym for API and documentation. But what is it exactly? In this module, we will see all about it. We are starting the course by looking at the course prerequisite and tooling and framework version we are going to use. Then we will look at OpenAPI, also known as Swagger, and see why it is important to document an API. We will also clear up some terminology confusion between Swagger, OpenAPI, Swashbuckle, and so on. We will end this video by looking at the demo application. If you have any questions or suggestions or want to discuss something, the best place to post them in the comment section. I check this regularly and like that the questions and answers can help other people out as well. Let's have a look at the course prerequisites. You don't need to know anything about OpenAPI or Swagger. That's covered in this course. Knowledge of C#, however, it is required to have some experience with building APIs with ASP.NET Core. Let's have a look at the tooling we will use. We will use Visual Studio 2019 for the demos in this course. Our code targets ASP.NET Core 3.1, which is the current version at the moment of recording. For the best developer experience with ASP.NET Core 3.1, you will want version 16.6.3 or higher of Visual Studio 2019. If you haven't got an MSDN license, you can download the free community edition. But it is not an important that you need Visual Studio 2019 to follow along. Any IDE that supports the framework version or application type you are working with can be good to be used. It is completely depending on your needs. That might be Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio for Mac, or other IDE like JetBrains Rider is completely okay. Now let's learn what Swagger or OpenAPI is all about. Documenting an API is very important. When it's publicly available, this needs no additional explanation. But even if it is not publicly available, it should be documented. Imagine you are building an API for your fellow developers or one that will be used by other teams in the company. There is of course the fact that you don't want to spend your time answering the same question, how do I integrate it with this API over and over again? It hurts your productivity and wastes your valuable time. But there is more. If the API isn't correctly documented, other teams in the company might not know what it does and start developing it themselves. In the end, that result in 3, 4 or even more number of APIs doing mainly the same thing, and thus a lot of money is wasted on developing and maintaining them. Through Swagger or OpenAPI, you can solve this. A lot of people have heard of Swagger or seen it in action and know it is a thing that allows documenting an API, and that's indeed one of the use case for it. Let's see what drives this. What you are looking at the moment is part of an OpenAPI specification in JSON. Actually, you are looking at the finished specification we will end up with after the course. In essence, it is a standardized description of our web API either in JSON or YAML format. It describes the capability of our API and how to access it through HTTP. If we have something like that, we can have tools and components that use that description or specification to do something with it. The most common example being generated a documentation UI from it. So that's the story. We have a specification, and from that specification a documentation UI, which is typically a web application, can be generated. But unless we want to manually write it such a specification, we need some kind of components or tool that generates that specification by inspecting our API. And then we need another component that does something with that specification. For example, generating that documentation user interface from it, we can also be used to test our API. But from an open API specification, other things can be generated as well, like client-side DTOs, that is data transfer object classes, or even API tests. So, OpenAPI has a broader aspect than just something used for documentation. Yet, that is what we are focusing on this course. If you want, you can already have a look at the full specification format via the link on screen, but you don't have to. We will dive into details during this course. The current version of OpenAPI is 3.0.3 and OpenAPI specification is often referred to as a Swagger specification as well. Both terms are interchangeable, but I will prefer to call it OpenAPI. Once you start looking around for the information on OpenAPI or Swagger, you will quickly encounter terms like Swagger UI, Swashbuckle, NSwag, and so on. So let's clear up the confusion and define what all of these are and how they relate. We have already seen that OpenAPI specification and Swagger specifications are two terms for the same thing. Swagger is a set of open source tools built around the OpenAPI specification. These are tools that help with creating an OpenAPI specification like Swagger Editor, rendering a UI from an OpenAPI specification, and that is Swagger UI, or tools that help with generating tests or client libraries from that specifications, and that is Swagger CodeGen. Let's have a look at one of these Swagger UI. We can find that on GitHub, and it is actually written with extended script and React. Honestly, I am not very familiar with this. Actually, we don't need to be familiar with them. What we need is something kind of tool or component that helps working with OpenAPI and ASP.NET Core. And that's where Swashbuckle ASP.NET Core comes in. The piece of middleware with two main responsibilities. First of all, it can generate an open API specification for our API. How it does that and how we can manipulate the process is what we will look in the detail in the next videos. And secondly, it provides an embedded version of it, which is driven by the generated OpenAPI specification. So if we add swashbuckle.asp.NET Core to our API project, we get both of these. Actually, it may surprise you to know that Swagger UI isn't the only UI documentation tool based on OpenAPI. It's just one way of generating documentation. Another popular one is Redoc, and that too is supported by Swashbuckle in case you are interested and want to use it for API documentation. So I hope you are starting to get a feeling of what such an open specification enables. We get tools in different languages to generate the specification. We get different options for building an UI from that specification and so on. And if you are guessing that there is more than just Swashbuckle in the .NET Core world, so you are correct. Other tools and components that help with generating the specification exist as well. One such library is NSwag, which is a great alternative for Swashbuckle. However, Swashbuckle is the most widely used one in the .NET Core world, so we are going to use that. But just know that as all these tools base themselves on one standard, and that is OpenAPI. You can mix and match to your liking. You could, for example, use Swashbuckle to generate the specifications, Redoc for UI generation, and NSwag for generating client classes. That's the promise and advantage of standard space development. Let's have a look at the demo application. In this demo, we will see the demo application from which we are going to start. If you are interested or want to follow along, which is highly preferable by me, you can find this solution on my GitHub. I will put the link of the GitHub solution in the description below. Please check it out. The starter solution contains one project, organization.api, which exposes department and their employees. It does contain two controllers, the department's controller and the employee's controller. The department's controller exposes all departments as a resource, one department as a resource, and a way to update an department via put request and via patch request. The employee's controller exposes all employees for a department, one specific employee for a department, and a way to create an employee for a department. From the actions, we call into the repositories, like a department repository. Let's open that one. The repositories contains call into our database using Entity Framework Core. So, to use Entity Framework Core, we need an entity model, and I defined that. We have a department entity model class and an employee entity model class. They are exposed as DB sets via the data context. We have a set of employees and a set of departments that can be accessed through it. The controllers don't expose these entities though. They exposes the outer facing models, in other words DTO classes, that is data transfer object classes. We will use all of this. AutoMapper is then used to map between these. I created a department profile for mapping related to departments and employee profiles for mapping related to employees. One thing I did do is change a few of ASP.NET Code's default settings so it better matches RESTful best practices. I removed text.json as a support media type for the JSON output formatter because the officially recognized media type for interaction with API is application JSON. We don't need text.json. Next to that, I ensure that a 422 response is returned in case of the validation error. By default, API controller returns a 400 bad request in that case. But I think 422 is a bit more appropriate option. So we have got a pretty normal realistic API. During the course, we will write some more additional actions in our controller to cover some more complicated use cases. But for now, this is sufficient introduction about the application. And that's it for this section. We will start coding in the next one. But first, let me help you to summarize this whole part for you. Till now, we have learned that having correct API documentation available is very important for both internal and public APIs. It can lead to better adoption of the API and help to save the money from being wasted. Swagger or OpenAPI can help with this because one of the use cases for it is auto-generating such document UI from an OpenAPI specifications. Cleared the confusion in regards to the terminology used online. The most important thing to remember is that an OpenAPI specification is the same as a Swagger specification. It's a JSON or YAML document describing the API. OpenAPI is the preferred term, so we will use that instead of Swagger. Swashbuckle is a ASP.NET Core library that generates such a specification for ASP.NET Core MVC apps like an API. It includes Swagger UI, which uses generated specification to create a documentation user interface. And with that, we will move further for coding in the next video.